There's three ways your ego is destroying your identity and your career. Happy to be here with you. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I've taken up enough of your time. So I just kind of want to go into it if I can with you. You are not your resume. You're not your resume. So the question is, who are you without the title? If you're not your resume and you are definitely not your salary, and if you're jobless, you're not a loser, your ego tells you otherwise and is likely killing your potential. So I want to welcome the 18-year-old at their first job, the 35-year-old mid-career veteran, and the 50-year-old has-been trying to regain their confidence and trying to redefine themselves. Ego needs applause. Confidence is earned. Ego thrives on comparison. Identity thrives on purpose. So I want to give you 3 points as to how ego is destroying your identity. And the first point is the I'm too important for this trap. Arrogance. This is how ego undermines your identity in this case. Ego tricks you into thinking your identity is tied to being the best, the smartest, or most senior person in the room. Here's the newbie mindset behind this. You won't do grunt work, or they won't do grunt work because they think they're above it. And I can tell you this, you won't be recommended if that's the case. You won't be promoted, and you won't be paid more. The grunt work is more valuable than you think it is. There's a ton of ways the trenches becomes your proving ground. I'm not talking about slavery. There are jobs, careers, and businesses that are launched every day by people doing some aspect of grunt work. Someone will do the job that you don't want to do, and they'll be the one who will benefit and grow personally and professionally. That's just the bottom line. Veterans, you won't learn new technology because you've done it this way for 20 years. Let's say that's fine. What happens in year 21 or 25 when that way no longer works for you or your profession? Change happens, but it won't happen for you if you won't change. In both cases, you lose the ability to learn, grow, and adapt. You stop being a learner and become a complainer. That's the impact that it has on your identity. Here's the antidote: humility. Be the person who does the work no one else wants to do. The best leaders often started at the bottom, and I mean the absolute bottom. Point number 2, the protect my image bottleneck. Fear of vulnerability. Here's how ego undermines your identity in this case. Ego hates looking weak, so it refuses to admit struggles, ask for help, or accept feedback. I've been on the side of this coin more times than I can probably admit at this point in time, but I thank God that there are two sides to a coin. And I'm also grateful for multiple flips. If you're an 18-year-old faking it until they make it, resulting in a massive, costly mistake, you can learn something because the sea of knowledge is so wide, so vast, and so deep. You can always learn something. 55-year-old veteran, has been, hiding career gaps or job loss, feeling shame instead of reaching out for opportunities. Change your point of view. Look at career gaps as opportunities to identify new lanes you can run your race in. If you're jobless, you're not a loser. The impact on your identity is this: it becomes a fragile mask rather than a real person. In this way, when you protect your image, you're acting successful, but you're not being successful. Here's the antidote: vulnerability. Admitting that you don't know something is the highest form of confidence. Point number three I'd like to make is the comparison game or syndrome. Envy. How ego undermines your identity here. Ego constantly measures your worth against someone else's highlight reel in the online space, for sure, but also in real time, real life. Here's a scenario: you have a decent job, but your ego is miserable because your high school friend just got a VP title. You lose your own unique path because you're too busy trying to replicate someone else's. In the long run, you may lose yourself. Here's the antidote in this case: internal focus. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. The reasons behind why ego does this, we're going to talk about that a little bit, and also reclaiming your identity. Your ego wants to protect you, but it's outdated. It still thinks it's back in caveman days, it's 10,000 BC. And losing a fight means dying for it. Real identity is found when you stop needing external validation to feel worthy. And here's something that you can do immediately: delete your ego. Delete your ego by finding one thing to be grateful for today that has nothing to do with your career success whatsoever. And I just want to give you a little bit of added value by telling you this: your ego is the enemy of your growth. Please hear me. Please hear me. You don't need to be somebody. Just drop the need for that. Drop the need to be somebody and focus on being authentic. I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, and share this with another man who really needs to hear this. I want to thank you all on YouTube because I want to let you know that I see you and I appreciate you being here on a Sunday morning. It's really great to see you. I'm doing great out there. I want to let you know that as well. You're asking. I hope that you're all doing great out there as well. I appreciate you guys for being here on Sunday. I know I'm a little bit late, but I'm so grateful for you all. Whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, or whether you're on Instagram, do know that you have tremendous value. You have tremendous worth. And really, it's about just kind of just off the cuff. Honestly, it's really just about your identity. Because once you know who you are, you know where you're going. Identity determines direction as well. So if you know who you are, you're going to know where you're going. You're going to start to understand and be able to impact your value, your true value, because your identity is not what you do. Your identity is not your job. And if you don't have a job, that's okay. It's okay. That's not going to identify you. You're just jobless at the moment. That's all you are. You're not worthless. You're not without value. All you have to do is just start to figure out. You need sometimes people. You need development. You need belief. You need personal belief. And you need understanding. We're not born with all of that. These are things that we have to go through life and kind of figure out. Sometimes we're figuring out by ourselves, but we don't have to do that. There's community, there's coaches, there's podcasts, there's personal development audios, there's all kinds of things. And if you DM me, subscribe, follow me, I share these things all the time. I'm just grateful that I have a platform. I've been able to discover my identity throughout all of this time. It's not something you're going to immediately pick up. It's not something you're going to immediately know. But I want to let you know that it's worth you continuing to look into. It's worth you discovering. So again, thank you. I'm going to give you back your Sunday. I appreciate you all being here. And I'm probably going to go to just a couple of you just to see what your comments are. I'm not going to be able to read all of them because you guys really go in, and I want you to know I appreciate everything. I want to thank you, Strong Island, for being here. I see you. And again, everyone out there in Instagram, I want to thank you all as well. I see I have a new guest. I'd like to thank Sue Smooth. I want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank you, DC, for being here. And I'm going to give you back your Sunday. I hope you all have an amazing and awesome day. And again, thank you so very, very much for being here in the Mitch Race podcast here. And I hope to see you again next week. Thanks again. Bye-bye for now.